What if I told you there was a type of website page that you've never heard of before that could triple your traffic and double your leads? It's exactly what happened when this company tried it, and it wasn't just luck. This page is 100% repeatable for any business. So in this video, I'm going to show you what this brand new page is, how it works to increase both traffic and lead generation, and how you can use it on your website. To get this to work for you, we need to talk about the big problem that most websites have that really limit their lead getting ability. And I'm betting you have this issue right now too. Imagine this glass contains your helpful, engaging content. Articles, blog posts. This is what draws people to your site. And this one? This is your sales content, your homepage and service pages that turn visitors into customers. Now, on most websites, these two are kept separate. Your visitors might appreciate your helpful content, but they never make it out of this glass and into this one where they can become a customer. But when you mix them together, you create a powerful reaction in your customer's brain, exploding your sales as a result. So if you want to sell way more, let me introduce you to the hybrid landing page. Think of it like a sales page cleverly disguised as an article. It's perfect for showing up in Google searches or for targeting with paid ads. And the best part? They read the content piece, which, when done right, creates a real demand for your paid offer, educating them and warming them up the whole way before seamlessly transitioning to the sales content. And by the time they reach that part, they're ready to go. Now, this strategy is still underused enough to be novel, but smart marketers have been experimenting with this type of page for years and have gotten some incredible results from it. For Boom Cosmetics, this hybrid landing page is their #1 highest converting landing page ever, so much so that they pretty much only send their Facebook ads to this page, nowhere else. This marketing agency owner says it's outperforming every other landing page they're using, and this top sales copywriter has used this exact format to generate more than $20 million for his clients. So now let's look at the simple page layout that did all of that so that you can easily copy it for your own business. So starting right here at the top, you'll notice this pretty much looks like an article, right? That's because we're starting with the content piece, and every article needs a great title. So this is going to be your first step, deciding on the right topic and title for your article that's going to be really intriguing to readers who may not be ready to buy yet, but they do know that they have a problem they need to solve. So your first step is to decide what's the biggest problem that your business solves for your customers. Is it an ugly yard, high taxes, or a place for their dog to stay while they go on vacation? Once you have that problem in mind, you can use ChatGPT to help you brainstorm a list of topics that you can actually use as the basis for your article. So just head on over to ChatGPT and you're gonna paste in this prompt. List 20 engaging topic ideas for specific demographic. I'll put in here 20-something entrepreneurs that address their main challenges with staying motivated, working from home. Focus on unique scenarios relevant to this group, offering diverse perspectives and solutions without pushing a specific service or product. Keep these as broad topics, not specific titles. And then we would just see what it comes up with. And from there, you would just pick the topic that you think would work best, then create the perfect title for it. So you can either do that yourself, modeling it on other titles you've seen that really stood out to you, or you can just ask ChatGPT to write you, 20 or so titles for that topic. But be sure to ask it for intriguing titles only and to not use colons. For some reason, ChatGPT loves putting in colons right in the middle of a title, which is just a dead giveaway that it was written with AI. So once you've got the title, it's time to write the actual article. And it's important that you start it by really connecting with your reader. So how do you do that? Well, you know the problem they have, so it's all about bonding with them over that problem. So for this example, we're talking about a shared office space. Let's say you own one of those, I don't know. But anyway, so you know the problem that your audience is dealing with is working from home can just feel very limiting, distracting, non-productive, right? So you'd bring that up as a huge problem that exists, but you wouldn't want to stop there. You'd want to make the problem even bigger by bringing up specific examples or scenarios of how this affects their life, right? You were bringing up the fact that like housework may distract you, or a quick TV break that turns into a binge watching session. So what we have here is negative, until you quickly flip it into a positive. You basically just say, I see your problems, but it doesn't have to be that way. Now from there, you're just gonna write the article. So listicles can work really well here, like 5 tips, points, or steps, but really the format here is up to you, as long as it's helpful for your ideal future client and delivers on the promise of the title. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, okay, Wes, but how long should this article be before we get to the good stuff, the sales stuff? So that is gonna depend on how you plan on getting people to this page in the first place. If you're planning on running paid ads to it, like from Facebook or Instagram, it can be fairly short and to the point. Like remember the one from Boom Cosmetics that I touched on earlier? That's really short. I would probably go a bit longer than that just so that people feel like they're actually getting what they came for. But honestly, the way that one's written, it offers 5 definitive tips that they may not have thought of before, so it works. However, if you're planning on going for search traffic, you'd want to make it, I don't want to say longer for the sake of longer, but you want to make it much more thorough, because Google does not really want to rank pages at the top of search results that deliver thin content. And I really do hate assigning a word count to pages because it really isn't about the word count. But I will say that you should be aiming for at least 1,000 words of good quality stuff that uses your keyword phrase a few times in a few key places, like up in your title, in a subheadline or two, and a few times in your body copy as well. And I'm not gonna get too far in the weeds here on SEO, but I do have a video that you can watch next that's gonna help you get all that dialed in perfectly, and I will be leaving a link to that in the description below. So let's get to the end of the article here. At the end, rather than wrapping it up with a conclusion paragraph like you learned back in school, this is actually where we want to seamlessly transition it into your sales page. And we do that with what I call the sales solution bridge. And here's how that works. So you're just going to use a transitional sentence along the lines of, okay, so, knowing all this is one thing, but actually doing it is another. But don't worry, we're here to help, or I'm here to help, whichever the case is. You then use just a paragraph or two to introduce yourself, why you're so passionate about what you do, and what you offer that'll help them. So this works as the perfect transition between the advice you gave, why you're qualified to give it, and finally, how you can help them even more if they pay you. And I do highly recommend including a photo right here of either you, your team, or the person that your clients would most likely be working with directly. It just helps to put a friendly face to the promise, and that really helps in building trust, especially with someone who's never heard of you or your business before. And this is also where you would put your first call to action button, just encouraging people to click here if they're ready to get started. But the text that you put here on this call to action button really matters. Don't say something vague like contact us or get started, because they won't know what that means exactly. So whatever it is you want people to do, whether it's to book a tour, schedule a consultation, book an appointment directly, or even buy something, make that action your call to action text. Now, with the bridge built, everything that comes after this point is designed to sell. And we're gonna start with laying out the 3 big reasons that someone would want to take you up on your offer. This is your benefits section. And I do have to really stress here, these are benefits, not features. And most people confuse the hell out of the two. So let's clear up the difference. A feature is a thing, and a benefit is a result. So take a look at this example from Ollie. Just notice how each of these items talks about a result. They could have easily just talked about specific nutrients and ingredients, but instead they talk about what those nutrients will do for your dog. And ending it with the ultimate result that your dog will live a longer life, how much more powerful is that than if they just said something like, developed by vets. And if you have trouble here, don't worry, most people do. Luckily, this is another great use case for ChatGPT. Just tell it all of the things you offer, your features, things like emergency service, experienced technicians, or a 60-day guarantee. Then ask it to make a table with the feature in column A, and then to brainstorm corresponding benefits to each in column B. Then just pick the 3 most compelling benefits and list those as the headlines here. And then in one short sentence underneath it, bring up the feature that makes that benefit possible. And because visuals help us get our ideas across about 6 times better than just text alone, you're definitely going to want to use some kind of an icon or a photo or some kind of an image for each benefit. Then just add a super clear headline here that emphasizes that this is what people can expect from you. But nothing speaks louder than the words of a satisfied customer. So let's break down how to craft a testimonial section that's not just impressive, but also authentic and convincing. So first off, if you've got video testimonials, use them, they're like gold. A real person speaking about their experience is incredibly persuasive. But if you're working with text testimonials, making them stand out is going to be key here. So when choosing your testimonials, it's important to choose the best ones. I like to use 3 on a page like this. So what you want to be looking for are statements that talk about real results or address common objections that people might have about hiring you. And the way that you format these testimonials can make all the difference between people actually reading them or not. And this is what's always worked great for me. So you want to start with a powerful headline from the testimonial that goes beyond saying something generic like, great service or highly recommended. What you want to do is highlight a specific result or overcome a doubt. Then you just want to follow it up with a short and sweet little version of the testimonial itself. Nobody wants to read a novel here, so just cut it down to the very best parts. And after you've cut it down, it still might be too long for people to read it word for word, which is why you want to use bolding on key phrases that you really don't want them to miss. Also, I do recommend adding a 5-star graphic here to visually show that this is a positive testimonial. And if possible, include the name and a photo of the person as well, with their permission, of course. You want to make sure you get that. But having the name and the photo makes the testimonial feel much more real and relatable, as if someone believes in you enough to publicly stand behind their words. Really makes a big difference. Next, we have to overcome a common sticking point with your prospects. So when people are at all unsure about what's coming, they tend to just back off and say no. So that's why we use a simple, transparent 3-step process plan. So this is where we're going to spell out exactly what your potential customers need to do to get started and give them a clear picture of what working with you looks like. By removing all of the guesswork and the what ifs, we're paving a really smooth path for them to follow. This is all about just creating a sense of familiarity and trust right from the start. Because when customers know what each step involves, they're much more likely to take that leap with you. And the cool part is, you don't have to figure out what these 3 steps are. They're already pre-figured out for you. So step 1 is always just going to be whatever your call to action is. For example, schedule a consultation or book an appointment. In this scenario here, it's scheduling a visit for a walkthrough. Now, step 2, admittedly, is a bit of a cheat because it's where all the work you do happens. So the whole point here is that you're making all that work sound super simple on your client's end. So if you were to list out all the steps that you take in your business, it's going to look overwhelming to them. But this way, it's almost like you're saying, don't worry, we've got this for you. And step 3 is always the happily ever after, where they get to reap the rewards of the work that you did. Okay, so for our next section, it's really important to understand how buying decisions typically work. 95% of that decision is based on emotions. And that goes for just about anything. Yes, even including B2B purchases too, which is why so much of what we've laid out on this page so far is there to appeal to their desires, their dreams, all that good stuff. But emotion alone won't always get people past the finish line. So a lot of people need to feel like they've backed up that emotional decision with logical reasons why that they should buy what you're selling. And that is where the features section picks up the slack. So remember all those features that I had you list out when you were brainstorming your big 3 benefits? Well, now is the time to include as many of them as you can think of. So just list them all out by name and maybe a short 1-sentence description of each. And then we have a really simple call to action block that just asks if they're ready to go, and if they are, to click this button to get started. And as well as this landing page works on its own, you do want the rest of your website to be set up just as well to bring in new visitors consistently and turn them into paying clients automatically. So I've got a seat for you in my free masterclass where I'm going to break it down really simply, what you need on your site to get clients and what you'd better remove right now before you scare them off. So click here to get your spot, and I'm gonna send you your access right when you do. So click here and let's make your website the client generating machine that your business needs.